Welcome to the Community Collective podcast. I'm Johnny B. Good, the flip-flop agent, and I've partnered with the Davison Area Chamber of Commerce to bring you the stories that shape our local communities. In our third season, our focus is about connecting, learning, and celebrating the voices that make our communities unique. Join us during this third season as we engage in thoughtful conversations and insightful moments. This podcast is commercial-free and supported by both myself, my co-host, and our guests. We would be so appreciative if you could like, share, and subscribe as we continue having conversations that matter, and cannot thank you enough for taking the time to listen. Good morning and welcome back to another episode of the Community Collective podcast. Man, oh man, we have had an amazing start to the year so far, and we are just joined by an amazing guest today who I am excited to talk with for a number of reasons. But the first one, his enthusiasm over our topic of discussion today is through the absolute roof. I cannot wait to have this conversation with him. But before we do that, we bring him in. We'll leave him behind the curtain for another minute or so. Travis, how are you doing, my friend? How's the morning treating you today?
It is going really good. This morning, I was able to go over to Grand Blanc Chamber and join them. They do a breakfast, and it was a great way to start the day. They had someone speaking that was high energy, talking about branding and getting out there and get your message out to people who want to hear it and finding the correct way to do it. And one of the things they said was podcasting is a very unique talent that is a great way for people to listen to what's going on. And I was like, this is us. And I was like, all right, I'm ready for another episode of the Community Collective podcast, and especially with our guest today.
So you just rambled, but all I heard you say was that you called me talented. So we're going to roll with that. I think that I am extremely talented, so that works for me. All right. So without further ado, I would like to introduce Mr. Ben Callis or I'd like not just to introduce him, but to welcome him to the Community Collective podcast. And let's have an amazing conversation today. Mr. Callis, how are you doing, my friend?
Hey guys, good morning. I'm great. How are you?
Oh, we are doing fantastic. So before we get into the main topic of discussion, I know that you are an exceptional employee and salesman for D&W, and I wanted to check in and see because given the amount of hail that we received here in Davison last summer, I know that you've been running around like the Tasmanian devil trying to get all of our community patched and repaired and taken care of. So are you doing okay? Have you survived that massive storm that we had?
Oh yeah, I didn't. What happened? Back middle of third week of July, and it was after that. It was go time. It was. You're right. I've been running around like crazy ever since then. It's starting to finally calm down. Once December hit, I would say
Sure.
It's starting to calm down quite a bit, which is good. That's when we expect B&W to be a little slower. We work our tails off during the spring, summer, and fall, and once winter hits. But yeah, that hailstorm, gosh, that helped. It sucked that happened, but it was great for me for business. But I'm glad to not be running as much because of that.
Oh, for sure. For sure. At my house, I had to get my roof replaced and they did some siding repair.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here in my office right here on M15 and we still hear air guns going off, air nailers, people still doing siding work. So given the madness, I'm glad that things have calmed down a little bit for you.
Yeah, it's still, I live over in Belmead, and if you drive through Belmead, it's still very prevalent. There's people still getting their siding done, the new roofs, gutters, and all that type of stuff. But yeah, it's still making its way, and I expect it to still make its way around Davison probably over for the next year.
Oh, for sure. I absolutely agree. I know I had a lot of friends that were running into some insurance issues, but thankfully I have a good insurance agent who's local, who took good care of us as well, and we got things done. But yeah, you're right. It's gonna happen all through the next year. I'm confident of that as well.
And I feel too with D&W, it's nice to have a local company with your neighbors that are helping you out. So Ben, I know that has been a great one. I know so many businesses came into the area to be part of help figure out something, but I feel like D&W is the one that I know it's a lot of people using just because they knew who you guys were. They can trust you. So I'm happy for you that you're getting busy with that, but it's also nice to see that D&W is there for our neighbors and our friends and family too. So
Yeah, that's who I've been there almost 10 years. That's who D&W is. We're not We're not storm chasers like a lot of those companies that were coming in from all around the state and wherever. We're here for the community. We have been here for the community since 1955. Yeah, and I appreciate everyone out there that went local and stayed local. And yeah, like I said, we certainly appreciate that.
That sounds great. So I wanted to give you a little bit of your kudos there. That was well deserved from all the hard work that you guys have been doing over there. So let's jump
Thank you.
into it. Oh, you're so very welcome. Last year, the Davison Comedy Festival moved to a new venue. It became a part or partnered with the Davison Festival of Flags and the Chamber of Commerce. How did this transition really impact the event in terms of audience reach and overall experience, in your opinion?
Yeah, the comedy show, it had always been, I was to start from the beginning. The comedy show had always been, at least for the first 4 years, over at St. John's, the parish hall there, which is a great venue. I know they have a lot of events there. It's set up very well for a comedy show, big capacity, always great feedback, clean. The list goes on with that. Very appreciative of St. John's and working with them. But after that 4th year, which was our most profitable for the parks, St. John's and I, we mutually decided not to partner again. I thought, okay, we had a good run and decided it was done. No more comedy show. It's time to move on. But then Travis, he took over the Chamber of Commerce. Travis, you called me in for a meeting and asked if it could be part of the Festival of Flags, which was amazing. I've always wanted it a part of the Festival of Flags. I didn't want to compete against it. I didn't like that, but I did. I love the Festival of Flags. I've made that very well clear to a lot of people. So it was a no-brainer for me. I said yes immediately. So to answer your question, the transition was great and worth it. Last year's show went really well, I thought. I was as laid back at one of my shows as I've ever been, and that's because of Travis and the Chamber chipping in to help with sponsorships, with spreading the word, setting up, cleaning up. There's a lot to it that people don't, realize. So we still had quite a big crowd for it being on a Thursday. I think it was the biggest, if I remember what Travis said, biggest in the Festival of Flags history for a Thursday night, which is huge. The experience was a lot of fun, and I credit that to Travis and the Chamber, along with, of course, the community for showing up like they do every year.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I know that it was Thursday nights have always been a little more so. We're focusing on Friday and Saturday night where the larger entertainment is coming in and whatnot. But last year, that Thursday night, it basically set the tone for the entire weekend. And it was a fantastic turnout. You're exactly right. Between our ambassadors and our board members that helped out, and more so the community showing up and wanting to be engaged and wanting to take part in everything was so fantastic to see. So as we move into the next question, integrating the comedy night into the Festival of Flags must have presented some unique challenges as well as opportunities. Could you share some of those key successes and your learning experiences from last year's event and how you can take that into this year's event?
Yeah. The number one unique challenge for me and probably for everyone that comes out for these comedy shows is, oh God, Ben is putting this comedy show outside. This is outside now. So I was worried about it, to be honest. Comedy shows are not typically ideal to be outside. Would people be able to hear the comedians? Will they be able to see them okay when it gets dark? Will it be too hot out? Will there be mosquitoes, bad weather, things like that? That's all running through my brain. But when Travis said, this was a big thing to me too, but when Travis said the Chamber would be hiring a sound and lighting company, that put a lot of my worries away. I knew he had my back and the Chamber had my back. And that was a good thing because these past comedy shows, it was me and me by myself. And so when I had the Chamber with me and I realized they had my back, that was a big deal to me. So you guys were such a huge help. I also was worried about if people would still come, even though they can't bring their own booze. At St. John's, it was always bring your own beer, bring your own liquor, whatever. We would open doors 3 hours early and people would come right when the doors would open and just get blasted. But we ended up selling beer at last year's show, and it was, if I remember right, the biggest selling Thursday of alcohol in Festival of Flags history. So I learned that the comedy show has legs now. People love it, and just to trust what we're doing. Change can be good, and it was good. Everything, I think, went perfectly last year from the feedback that I got, and I am really excited for this year's show.
And Ben, I know you give a lot of shout outs to our team, but we know as soon as we came to you and started talking to you, you didn't hesitate. And I think that means a lot to me and the Chamber that you are on board. And I will say the huge success of the comedy show over the years, you've done an amazing job in making this community event for really everybody. And it's a draw from outside the Davison area. When we talked to you about being part of the Festival of Flags and you said yes right away, it made me excited. And like Johnny mentioned, We have the parade, which is fantastic, and I think it's a great way to get things going. But to get the festival started up at Lake Callis, the comedy show was the perfect thing. You got
Yeah,
tons of people up there, got excitement going, and it's something I've always strived to find some new ways to engage our community, to get the chamber involved in a lot of different avenues. And the comedy show was an amazing fit. Ben, I can't thank you enough for that.
it was a great time, and I really enjoyed working with you guys. So I'm glad we're doing it.
With the upcoming of the 6th Davison Comedy Festival, how are you planning to build upon the success of last year's event, especially in terms of attracting a larger audience and enhancing the overall experience?
The fact that people in this community in Davison and even outside Davison, we've had people come in. I've got a tracker on when people buy tickets. I can see where people are buying tickets from. We've had people come in from Chicago before. We've had people come from Detroit, Dearborn, outside up north in Cairo, and they're coming from everywhere. But a majority of it is Davison. There's a lot of people coming from Grand Blanc and Burton. But these people are familiar and they come every year. I certainly appreciate it. We've got those regulars that I mentioned. We'll have newbies, of course, every year and so on. Going from a Thursday night like last year, I think we had, if I remember, I'd have to look back, but like maybe 250 people or so. And now this year it'll be on a Friday and one of the very main attractions. So we're going to have a huge turnout, in my opinion. It's going to be the weekend. People are going to want to experience the festival, whether it's the comedy show or the carnival or whatever is going on. I think it could be, honestly, you guys, it could be the biggest turnout, not only in the comedy show's history, but also for a Friday night at the Festival of Flags. That's my hope. People, they're going to get to feel part what I think is the absolute best community event of the whole year. They're going to get to come out to laugh, to drink, to have fun for a few hours. Being at Lake Callis under that Grand Pavilion, this is not a normal comedy show that you would see like at a comedy club or wherever it's at, bowling alley or a bar. It truly feels like you're a part of something so fun and unique. And it feels what I thought it felt like last year. And I thought it was so weird, or not weird, but it's just a really cool experience. It felt like you were at a campfire with a ton of friends drinking and listening to these professional comedians telling us jokes. I just thought it was so cool. And I thought it's that in comedy, it is just the best kind of therapy in the world. Just a lot of fun. And it's just it's going to be a great time again.
I know that you and your wife go to comedy shows in different places. So I know you've experienced so many different venues and comedians, and I think that really adds to it. And I love that you said it's like hanging out with your friends around a campfire and just having some fun. And I think that it really showed last year when people showed up on a Thursday night for that different atmosphere of being outside under the Grand Pavilion. It made it really fun. I had a blast. I was walking around talking to people, helping out with some stuff that we had going on. But I tell you, I laughed so hard and enjoyed it. And just to see the number of people coming up to the festival for this event was amazing. And I love your mentality. This is going to be record breaking. We're going to keep breaking the records for the comedy show and for the festival. And so I think that's really evident of how great we're able to partner together.
That's exactly right, Travis. You want to keep pushing this thing forward. I don't want to take a step backwards. Let's keep pushing. Let's just see where this thing will go. And it's for being the 6th year now. People love it, and it's going places. So I agree.
Yeah. And I think too, you get that venue set up, you get people excited, and you're not only adding such a fun entertainment thing, but like you mentioned, you're drawing people into our community to show what Davison's offering and what a wonderful place it is to live and enjoy being here. So I love that, Ben. You've done such an amazing job over the years planning it that I'm really looking forward to it. The Davison Festival Comedy Show is going to be amazing. And Ben, you've worked hard already. As soon as we started talking, you're like, all right, I got this. And you came up with one of I think the best lineups that I've been able to check out and listen to them on YouTube and follow them on social media. Fill us in. Tell us about these prominent comedians that you have coming in.
Yeah. I do more YouTube watching and comedy show, visits than anyone would probably ever believe. But this comedy show is my thing, and it matters to me. I only get one opportunity a year to do this, so I always want it to be special. I always want, like I said, I want to keep moving it forward. I want to try to make it bigger and better every year. I want people to love it. I want them to tell their friends about it and come back year after year when they do. So that's why this thing has continued each year, because people want it, knowing they'll have a great time. So that's my focus every year. What 3, 4, or 5 comedians can I get to come to Davison and put on an amazing show with getting folks to laugh into tears? That's my goal. This is a professional comedy show. This isn't put together overnight. That wouldn't be fair to the chamber, to the community, to myself. No, so my vision is pretty simple. It's comedians I want to perform, make me gut laugh over and over throughout their set. Bill Bouchard, he will be performing with us for the 3rd time, and he'll be hosting it this year. Right out of the gate, people, they're going to have to settle in, because they call him the godfather of Detroit comedy. He's going to bring it. He always does. And that's why he's been here 3 times. He'll have us in tears immediately. He's a great one. He could headline this thing, and he's hosting it. So that's going to tell you a lot about how this thing is going to start on June 7th. But Sam Rager, she's going to be joining us for the 2nd time. So this will be her 2nd time with us. She is very funny, likable, very dark, which I love, and will really set the tone, I think, for the evening. She can connect with folks at a deeper and very uncomfortable level. She's going to be a good one to have right up to the bat as well. People will adore her. Adam Deggy, he's a newbie to this show. He has not been here to perform yet. I have wanted him a part of it. I've known about him for years. He's from Grand Rapids. Finally able to get him. He's performed many comedy festivals all over the place. He likes to riff with the crowd, which is a big deal to me. I love comedians that like to riff and rant with the crowd. Very outspoken, unapologetic, and he's very unfiltered as well. And then you got Mary Santora, who will headline it. Very lucky and honored to get her. This is a big deal. This girl is as funny as it gets. She's got the #1 comedy album on iTunes, the #1 comedy album on Amazon. She's got the #5 comedy album on Billboard. So she's all over the place. She's all over SiriusXM. About her, she's very dark, like Sam, incredibly quick. She's got an observational style of comedy, which is perfect for a headliner of this comedy festival, in my opinion. She just moved to New York City, but I've talked to her a bunch, and she's excited to get here for this. She travels all over the country. Going to be a very good time. I urge everyone, if you want to come, out for this for evening of laughs, you're not going to want to miss this one. So we've got 4 headliners that are on the show. But it's a dream for me to have this show a part of the Festival of Flags, especially on a Friday night. It's the main attraction. And with this lineup, I think people are going to ask for it each year, which is, of course, like I said, that's my goal.
Once you started sending me the names and listening to them, I have not laughed so hard. I had to go in the basement of my house because it was later in the evening. I didn't want to wake everybody up while I was listening to it.
I think this lineup, and then having this move to a Friday night, I'm like, we've got to go. We've got to go for it. We've got to get who we want. We've got to have the best comedians that we can get, and we've got to show the community what this is about. And this is a perfect opportunity to do that. So again, I thank you.
You put a lot of hard work into this, and this partnership has been great. And I think it has continued growth in it. And I look at this and I see these performers, and they bring so much to the event, to the atmosphere of what we're creating. We have a carnival for families of all ages, but we also want to have stuff for adults as well. I feel like deserve something that we can enjoy. And your comedy show already has a huge following that you've been organizing, and your overall vision is perfect to bring people into Davison to showcase the Festival of Flags, but and overall just make people laugh and enjoy life, and maybe just forget about some stuff and enjoy it. One of the big things for any event is getting people engaged, finding sponsorships, and helping show support. So, Ben, engaging the community and securing sponsorships are crucial for success for the comedy show and for the festival. Could you talk about the process of community engagement and the role sponsorships play in organizing the Davison Comedy Festival?
Without engaging the community for sponsorships, like any event, especially this one, this magnitude, there is no Davison Comedy Festival without the community support of the sponsorships. It's crucial. Like Ken Elliott he says to me, you can't do fun things like this without fun people that are willing to help. And so this is the 6th annual festival. It's got legs now, in my opinion. People look forward to it each year. So we get a lot of the same sponsors year after year, and always some new ones, of course. And to be honest, I think with my last name being tied to Lake Callis, I worked at Madden's. I DJ'd there for a number of years. I was 4 years on city council, and now 10 years at D&W. I feel like I've been real prevalent in the community. I'm always out there. I'm at Bear Soup Deli twice a week. I'm always in talking Ken over at Hilton. I'm everywhere. Sponsors know what they're getting into with me. And this is a huge Davison event where, their business, their name is going to be seen by hundreds and hundreds of people at the show. At the beginning, when this all started, I would visit or message 50 to 100 businesses about teaming up just to hope to get something to stick, get some traction. And I think it's worked in my favor for sure. Hilton Screeners, they helped me get the idea in motion. And I credit so much, I always say it, so much to Ken Elliott for helping me form the tenacity to do this, because he's done things like this before. And so he really helped this get off the ground. And I really appreciate him and the people over at Hilton. And now as we reach the 6th show, sponsors message me. We just put this out here. Today's Friday. We just put this out there, I think, Tuesday or Wednesday. And we've already got 3 sponsors for this. We've sold tickets already. The show is in 5 months.
I know. When we started talking and we're like, okay, you're like, all right, I'm ready to put the ticket sales out there. And I was like, okay, you did it. And I was like, yes, let's do this. And then you're like, hey, I already sold a bunch of tickets. And next thing was, hey, we have some sponsors coming in. It shows how much people want to be a part of this and how important it is to have their business associated with it and being advertised and promoted with something so fun and exciting in the area. And like you said, we're 5 months away. So that just means it's going to be even more record-breaking when the festival starts and the comedy show is coming up. Ben, if someone is interested in getting tickets and making sure they are some of the first ones to reserve their spot before this event sells out, how can they, first of all, get tickets? And then if someone wants to do a sponsorship, how does that work? How can they say, hey, I want to be part of it?
Yeah. So if anyone is interested in getting a ticket right now, we've got them on sale. They're all general admission. So you sit wherever you want to sit. You can sit as close to the stage as you want or as far back as you want. But they are $15 a piece right now until the first 100 are sold. After that, we're going to raise the price up to $20, which is still extremely affordable, especially when you're seeing 4 professional comedians come into Davison that aren't from around here, be able to sit for 2 hours and laugh and enjoy an evening. But you can get tickets, eventbrite.com. It's spelled eventbrite.com, and just search for the Davison Comedy Festival. It'll come up. You can message me on Facebook. I think you'd probably get a hold of you as well. You can call me. I don't know if I want to put my phone number out there.
I know I had someone email me. I'm looking for it. We do have a form that they can fill out. That way they can sit there and look about it and think. And you get your tickets. And I would say last year, that first 100 that are discounted went quick. And I mean, we have room for a couple hundred people underneath there. So I would say, people, if you're listening, go ahead and go to Eventbrite, get your tickets to the Davison Comedy Festival before they're all sold out. And we're 5 months out and the tickets are already being sold. And sponsorships, I think we've talked and we're ready to just get as many as we can to play a huge role in what's going on.
Yeah, it will sell out. We're going to get a lot of people will start buying tickets right now. And then by the time we get to May and June, we're going to be rocking and rolling. It's going to be busy and it's going to be exciting. And I'm looking forward to it and working with you guys again and seeing everybody out at Lake Callis for a fun evening of laughs on June 7th.
Ben, you are, I'll be honest, kind of a jack of all trades. You have been on city council. You are always involved in the community. You're doing stuff with your family. You are working at D&W and you're traveling everywhere. The message of how wonderful our community is with you all the time. You're, I think, a great example of someone that loves where we are and promoting it. And I think the Davison Comedy Festival is a perfect example of what you're doing for our community.
I love Davison. I've lived here my whole life. Graduated here. My kids, we live here in Davison Township, and I'm going to grow my kids here. And yeah, I'd do anything for this community, and I always will. And with the comedy festival, I've always wanted to have the comedy show in Davison. I've always wanted to we go to so many comedy shows. I'm like, why can't we have one here? And so that's where it all started. And now look at it now. It's massive. And again, I can't thank you guys enough, and really looking forward to a 6th show here in June.
I think the best part about what it is that you do is that you actually want it. This isn't an obligation. This isn't something somebody's twisted your arm that you have to do. You're actually locked in and you're like, I want this. This is going to be amazing for the community. It's going to be a tremendous amount of fun. So let's do it and let's have fun and let's make it the absolute best that we can. And so your enthusiasm and your excitement, it's palpable. And anybody that's listening to this podcast or talking to you in person or wherever, they're going to be able to see, wow, Ben's really into it. And as somebody that's organized events in the past and works on these things year in and year out, we appreciate that tremendously. The enthusiasm is absolutely such a key factor in a great event.
Yeah, you guys, I don't make $1 off this, and I don't want to make $1 off this. I want this for the community, and that's how it's always been. I put the time and effort into it because this is what I want. I want people to come out and have a good night of laughs. It's going to be exciting because we've got 4 professional comedians coming in, and I want it to be exciting. I want it to be fun. I don't want to, like I said, this is not put together overnight. I take a lot of time with this. I do a lot of research. I go to a lot of comedy shows, a lot. So I want it to be good. And as long as we do this, it's going to be that way. Yeah. I'm just really looking forward to it again. I get just as excited for the 6th one as I was for the first one, if not more.
That's amazing. Ben, we're going to let you get back to work. I'm sure the head honchos over there, D&W, want you to get to work at some point, much like my boss wants me to get to work.
Of course. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Thank you for taking the time. Thanks for joining us on the Community Collective. And I'm sure that we'll find some time to circle back around prior to the festival and the comedy festival kicking off. And we'll chat it up again and make sure that everybody knows if you're not there, you're missing out.
You got that right, buddy. Yep. I appreciate you guys having me on big time. You guys have a good weekend.
All right, Ben. Thanks so much, my friend. Yep.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Bye. And that's a wrap on today's engaging episode of the Community Collective podcast. A huge thank you to Ben Callis for joining us and sharing such exciting insights about the Davison Comedy Festival. Ben's passion for bringing laughter and joy to our community is truly inspiring, and it's clear that this year's event is shaping up to be a standout experience. Remember, if you're looking to grab your tickets for the Comedy Festival, do not delay. You can find a link to purchase tickets right in our show notes. This is one event you will not want to miss, with an incredible lineup of comedians ready to bring the house down. As always, we're grateful for your continued support. If you enjoyed our conversation today, please like, share, and subscribe to keep up with all the amazing stories and personalities that make our community unique. I am Johnny B. Good, the Flip-Flop Agent, alongside Travis Howell, Executive Director for the Davison Area Chamber of Commerce, saying thanks for tuning in and reminding you to stay connected, stay informed, and keep celebrating the voices that make our communities thrive. Until next time, keep your spirits high and your laughter loud.